Hi, guys. We are back, and we've sat here with a few takes, and we figured we need to give you real information. And we are being wide open here with you on our podcast. The reason that we have decided to come out, Lindsay and I, with so many topics is to help express the life that we live and are living is that of a big life that we're incredibly grateful for, but it's taken so much. It's so much to get to where we are today. And today's topic is goal setting. Yeah, that's a big general goal setting. We hear about it all the time. It's purpose, it's intention, it is objectives, it is manifesting your day, week, month, life. And we are living into that, and we are still trying to discover it ourselves. So, as we sit here today,
Well, we were talking about why is this so important to talk about? Why talk about this first? And why? Why are we talking about goal setting?
yeah, years ago, I remember I didn't like to set a goal. I would just push through things like, I want that, I need that, or I'm looking for that. Well, if you continue to do that, sure, that's manifesting and living into it, but until you are intentional about your day, the hour, the month, or long term objectives, goals, and intentions, you're not going to get there in the timeline that you want.
Well, also, the intention is important because that's what do you wake up every day and do? And we don't know what to do every day if we haven't started with the end in mind. And a lot of
Absolutely.
people, and I used to do this too. I don't. It was kind of superficial. It started as I just want to go on a vacation, or I just want to earn $50,000 at my first job out of college, whatever it may be. It was starting with some sort of goal at the end, and then I would be able to figure out how to work backwards to get to that. And the other point you made, Ryan, is so important, which is the intention and even just I want to expand on that, even just saying what you want. And I was thinking about like this podcast before we started, and that movie The Notebook keeps coming into my head where the guy is with the girl and he's basically like, what do you want? And she's just like, I don't know, it's not that simple. And for some of us, we haven't even taken time to think about, what do we want? What does God want from us? What do I want for myself? What do I want for my personal growth? What do I want if you're a parent? What do I want as a mother? What do I want for my mental health, for my physical health? What do I want to do for fun? And I say all those because even finances, what do I want to save? Those are typically the key, life disciplines that we have that we set goals around. And one thing that I've found is when I started doing this, I would say 8, 9 years ago, maybe almost 10 years ago is when I
Probably
started.
longer than that, yeah.
And I remember starting with just a blank piece of paper and a quiet room and just writing down things that I wanted. And it could be radical, it could be like, I never can even imagine how I would get there, but I put it out on paper. And what I've learned over time, and even as I've really got experience with, goal setting and manifesting and all of that, some of the foundational things are still very much the same. And that is figure out what you want and make it so big that it's kind of scary.
It's
It
more
feels
than
unachievable.
it's more than scary. Unachievable. That's the first thought that comes. It's you don't even really if you're setting a goal it should be radical. It should be something that is so big that it scares the hell out of you. You have no idea how you are going to get from point A all the way to Z. And there's so many components to it. So you really have to know your why. And it can be a very long process to discover that. I remember when Lindsay first started, this was before our daughter Riley, that I would see her write. And I didn't understand, like, oh, I see her doing that. And she may have not even known a decade ago, like, where that was going. But since she's followed that plan, all of what she's done, what she's written and pushed out and lived into has happened. Right? So when you're praying about something and creating that in your mind and in your day, your routines, when you have that purpose and that why, like, boom, there it is. Wow, that's scary. That's
Yeah.
big. How the hell am I going to get there? You know?
Yeah. I mean, you reflected on what you watch from me, but also I want to touch on the way that you manifested certain things that have been actively happening in life. But you mentioned something, and I'm curious, why should we set radical goals? Why does it have to be radical? Why does it have to feel so scary? Like, what will that do for us?
Yeah, I think, and I can only speak about myself or what I've witnessed with Lindsay, but we're all different, right? And there's needs, dreams, aspirations that we have as individuals. And at a young age, I didn't know what wealth was. I had a really different relationship with God than I do now, and it's still growing. All of these things in my life, I knew I wanted a big house. A lot of my younger needs were very materialistic. And I knew I wanted to live a big life. What is a big, just full of abundance, do what I want, buy what I want. They were small. There was small thinking when I was younger, but in order to really have a beautiful big home, drive a nice car, wear nice clothes, these types of material things, in order to get there, it takes a ton of hard work, sacrifice, living into that purpose, relationships, prayer, all of these things. And it's like Lindsay said before, we're talking about ideas for today's podcast, and we could talk about this particular topic for weeks. I mean, really months, just kind of reviewing what's happened in the last 17 years of our relationship and where we were and how we got through it all. But all of it has to do with a goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. I was thinking, how am I going to break this down into maybe 20 minutes that would really impact people listening? And, as we're approaching the end of the year, it's a really good time to start some of these exercises, right? So we've touched on why we do this, right? It's so we can start to actually put goals and dreams and desires out there, so that we can start to achieve these things that are kind of just been mulling maybe in our hearts, or kind of rumbling, or thinking, I kind of want that, but I don't think I can ever achieve that, right? And start living out a purpose, right? And how do we do that? We start to identify certain things that we want. And I would challenge you all to pick 5 things in your life that you want to set goals around, right? An example would be your maybe spiritual goal, some sort of personal growth goal, a financial goal, a career goal, a health and fitness goal, key relationships goal with your child, with your husband, wife. And it can be as simple as writing one sentence.
Yeah, and maybe even a traveling goal, right? Even though that goes back to finances.
Fun and hobbies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you have to have money to travel, and there's a lot of freedom of traveling and discovery of even self-awareness as you see new parts of the country or the world. And I think that it's so important to be intentional about those 5, 6 big radical goals, because if you set something that is out of reach, like here's my hand that you can't see on the film, and like, how am I going to get to where I can't even see? Like, how am I going to get over there? And to this day, it's what you have to do is there's a lot of sacrifices that have to be made there, and I mean that in a very positive manner. You have to get rid of things that are in your way to get to where you are going, and that goal setting and intention. So okay, I want to buy a big house. I want to build a home, and I want to build this home. This is my vision. I wanted to build a home. Lindsay wasn't all for this idea, and we both grew up with very humble beginnings, and to get to where we are now, to build this beautiful home, in my mind was, I love people, I love family, I want to have a big house so I can have people gather and enjoy each other's company, and celebrate each other's wins in life, because I am the personality that likes to see not just my success by myself. I want to have everybody else join in those successes, to have people enjoy my hard work, our hard work. And so now we're here, and it's taken the relationships, the trust, and being intentional about the day, week, month, and year. And as we come up, like you said, to the end of year here, and what we're doing right now in the fourth quarter, fall, autumn, if you will, what we're doing now is going to manifest and work here come in the beginning of the year, because the work you're doing now is usually 30, 60, 90 days away.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to give another example of this and just kind of hit this home, because this is this where you start. The start is, what are your intentions? What do you want? Right. And so another goal you had set earlier this year was finding clients who are selling more of a luxury property, right? And when I remember when you put that out there, you kind of thought about it yourself, you prayed about it, you talked to me about it, you talked to the team about it, and then things just started happening. Certain calls just started coming in. Certain conversations just started happening. And here we are at the end of the year with, half a dozen to almost maybe 10 houses under contract at that level where you set that goal.
Yeah, $1 to $2 million plus homes under contract right now.
Right. So it's here's another another example that I hear a lot when we're talking about putting out the intention. It's the reticular activating system, right? And here the example is, do you know any pregnant women? Right? Or have you ever seen those really bright green Mercedes or Mustangs or something like that? And you're like, no, I've never seen any of those.
Who's got a bright green?
Yeah, and then
Mercedes?
you go out into, you're driving down 66 and you see 15 of them, right? So the point to that is just identifying what it is that you want in life. And then, you will, because of that, start to act in certain ways, start to do different things, start to look for different opportunities that align with that goal.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about some of the other radical goals that I've set for myself in the last couple of years. I don't enjoy running or jogging, I do enjoy the way it makes me feel, and I know it's good for my mental health and discipline, and it's good for weight and just having a nice cardiovascular system here. So I set a goal. I said, I'm going to set it big. Like, I had never run no more than 10 miles. So I said, you know what? I want to run a marathon. Like, how am I going to do that? Like, 10 miles is like exhausting for me. And, so got a program, have a fitness coach, boom, boom, boom. Worked on it for about 5 months and completed my first marathon in St. George, Utah. And it was probably one of the most incredible experiences of my life. Knowing that I worked for months on something of a personal goal that actually helps other avenues of my life. For instance, it helped me set time blocking goals. If I knew I had to go run 5 or 7 or 11 or 15 miles for training, because I'm so busy during my days with a family, a daughter, a team, friends, everything, you have to be intentional about, okay, what's my schedule today? Okay, I got to get 6 miles in at this pace. And so that goal was set. And then at the end, it was completed. So I think that was one of my more recent big goals.
Yeah, I mean, you build accountability around it too.
Absolutely.
Right? Once you set that goal for yourself, then you start putting things in place to help you get there, not just a plan, but then there was accountability around it. Hey, are you going to get up and run, or are you going to eat that right before a run?
Right.
And so those, what he was saying about the radical part, when it's so big, it does force you to increase, or I guess step up and level up all other areas of your life.
Absolutely.
Right? And I feel that the fitness challenges really, really, really do that. You want to become, a better mom, better at managing time, like you were saying. Set a very big health goal and you will see other areas of your life level up. Even when you set other very big goals.
Don't try to scoot around your big goal.
Yeah.
You should tell them what you've done.
Well, yes. I mean, the health and fitness goal that I set, I mean, I've worked out, oh my gosh, since high school. I mean, I was playing sports in high school, and then after high school, I would just kind of go to the gym, almost every day, do something. And it wasn't until this past year that I decided to take it to the very extreme level, and I set a health and fitness goal to start competing in bodybuilding competitions. And so, I think also, the other key disciplines that I mentioned that a lot of us set goals around that are important to us, our children, our spouses, our partners, our work, all of that. There's usually one of those key areas we have a massive goal around that we're going toward, right? And when we go toward that massive goal, the other areas in our life are leveling up, right?
Up.
Then, so when I used to set my fitness goals, the other goals, everything was just kind of, I felt like they were average. They weren't really radical. And so everything in my life, I was working at kind of just I want to do better with Riley. I want to do better with you, or I want to do better at school, whatever it is. But when I set this radical fitness goal, every other discipline in my life raised. Our relationship got better. Riley and I's relationship got better. My time management got better. I was more focused on career. I've been wanting to come out and share certain things that feel like I have been pursuing and working on for 10 plus years. So coming out and sharing this with you guys has been something I've been thinking about for a while. And I truly believe that, just listening to God and getting quiet is one reason, of course, but just the fact that I have gotten more confidence through hitting this radical fitness goal, I think has spilled over into the kind of purpose of driven life, if you will, where I wanted to come out and share. And the last thing I'll say on that is, when you set a lot of radical goals, it also will increase your spirituality. Whatever
Absolutely.
relationship you have,
Oh,
for us is God,
that's so
because
true.
you don't feel like you can reach it without a higher being.
I mean, during the marathon training, when I would run this exhausting run, I had never felt closer to God. And it was because obviously huffing and puffing and sweating and doing it at 3 in the morning or, later in the evening. That's such a great point. These radical goals are so big. You're trusting in Him to help you, guide you there. I mean, that's a huge point, Lance.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, we've been gone, 20 minutes or so. We can wrap, but I want to just kind of end on some books that have helped me. I know Ryan isn't a book person, and so some of you out there may not be, but if you are, and I can even link them in the show notes, or you can always, reach out to us. But there's a book that I read called Chase the Lion.
She can see she liked it. It's so colorful.
Actually, this guy is based in DC, I think. But anyways, if your dream doesn't scare you, it's too small. So it's a really good book to go through and think, wow, am I still thinking too small? And so it has so many cool takeaways in here to help you really expand your mind and continue to think bigger and go through exercises. This book I spent a lot of time in as well, Living Forward. It basically will allow you to break down the key disciplines that we talked about. You pick your own, right? I gave off some that I have, personal growth, key relationships, finances, health. But they walk you through how to kind of pick your 5, your 9, and you write out, how do I want Riley, my daughter, to remember me, right? In fact, you actually start out writing your eulogy. How do you want people to remember you
That's
when
powerful.
you're gone? It is very powerful, and, you'll be surprised when you're done with that exercise. You come back to it. They list in the book how to come back to it every quarter, what you do every quarter, what you do every 6 months, what you do every year. How your intentions then every day change just by saying, I want Riley and I's relationship to be this. I want Ryan and I's relationship to be this. So if I get up every day and act like that, is this supporting what I ultimately want?
Yeah, the hurdles of intention and purpose.
Right. You will see your life change. When you set your intentions, when you set your goals, your life will change. I promise you. That's that.
Yeah, no. Thank you guys for watching and
or listening.
Or listening.
Yeah.
We will continue to talk about this particular topic because there's so much to this that you can't capture in 20-25 minutes. But we look forward to talking to you and seeing you soon.
Yeah, I think if it makes sense, I mean, we might even be able to start some sort of little group for goal setting.
Absolutely.
For the year to come and hold each other accountable, whether it's the life plan, business plan, but look at those books and like Ryan said, we will be intertwining goal setting and manifesting and all of those sorts of things later on in all of the other conversations that are to come. So thank you for tuning in, and
take great care. Yeah, talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.